Hello?
Family physicians. Is this Stephanie?
Yes, it is.
Hi, I have Christina on the other line. I'm going to finish up your telephone appointment.
Perfect.
Okay, perfect. Let me connect you.
Thank you.
Of course. Okay, Christina, here's Stephanie. Hi, Stephanie. How are you?
I'm great. How are you, Christina?
Good.
Are you freaking out?
Some very interesting news.
Okay.
Yeah, a little bit.
Yeah, I bet.
Have you seen these online?
Yeah, I did.
Oh, okay. So I have been practicing 23 years, doctor, about that time.
Mm-hmm.
We've both never seen an LDL that high in our lives.
Right. Did you see the study that I sent you?
No.
Oh, darn
Let me
it.
see if it's in your chart.
Okay. I wanted you to read it before you freaked out.
I've never seen one that high.
I know. Okay.
In fact, we don't actually high. They can't measure it above 350.
I know. I was shocked when I saw it. I knew it was going to be higher. I assumed it probably would, but that's the weird thing is the study that was done is there's a phenomenon called lean mass hyperresponder. And it sounds like, I think that's what I am. It's kind of rare, but there's thousands of these people that are having this same thing now, especially now with, keto and stuff, anything low carb. Now they're getting more and more of them, and it's people that aren't overweight who are doing it. And if they have a BMI that's low and normal cholesterol before it, it shoots sky high, like beyond the charts. And they don't necessarily know that it means anything, that it's bad or doesn't mean anything. But it sounds like with this study they've done, it's always thinner people. I don't know exactly. They're usually fit, or they have a low BMI, or they all have a BMI that's low. It sounds like what they're wondering about whether in order to, if you need to do anything about it, like if there's a concern or not. And if there is, that they had one person who ate the equivalent of a small sweet potato every day, and it dropped 400 points.
Yeah.
So incorporating some carbs in is probably the way to go. But I just wanted to see what you thought.
What's your motivation for the diet?
Well, the reason I'm doing this is because my husband has the autoimmune disorders and he can't get uveitis anymore. It's too dangerous, or it's too scary. He's getting to a point where he's, was getting resistant to steroids, and he also has ankylosing spondylitis. And being on the AIP, the autoimmune protocol diet, put it all at bay, but he had another flare, so we decided to go more extreme. And it's easier and more fun to do it together if I'm just cooking one, meal instead of, him making him something different from me eating pizza and him having to eat, whatever it would be. So I just have done all of this with him because I want to. And the more I've read and the more I've learned about carnivore, the more I really, truly think it's a miracle diet and a way of life. And I do think that I'm not totally concerned about the cholesterol, but I do know that mine is extremely high, and it shouldn't have been because it hasn't been before. So it's just really weird, and I understand it. But I also know after reading about this that it's a fairly new phenomenon, so I don't really know what to do with it, except maybe just add in some carbs and retest.
Yeah, the problem is right now you're allowing yourself to be a human experiment.
Yeah.
For hundreds and thousands of years, humans, have eaten a variety of foods, right? Like vegetables and carbs and all of that, and depending on different cultures. But if you look throughout the cultures, throughout the, hundreds and thousands of years of history and what we have recorded, even amongst different cultures, even in Asian cultures, in Latin cultures, they all still have a variety of fruits and vegetables. So this is very, very experimental.
Yeah.
Versus something for thousands and thousands of years. going to get you a referral over to cardiology, and then we can see what they think of that.
Okay.
And what the impact might have, because there's, other tests too that you can do, like a calcium score, but it's a pretty big, for you, it's a pretty big risk to take with low reward. Like with your husband, there may be a benefit for the uveitis, right? But with everything, we have to look at benefit to risk ratio.
Mm-hmm.
And your benefit to risk ratio might be the same as his because your benefits are lower. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it totally does. I completely understand that.
I'm like I said, I've been doing this a long time. I'm not new. And I have a lot of patients that are on Atkins diets and paleo diets and whatever the latest trend is. It's a high meat diet. So I've had a lot of patients do a mostly like meat and vegetables or all meat and vegetables, but I've never seen anything like this. So this is like really odd. So yeah, we'll send you over to cardiology and see what they think about all of this and try to add some carbs and vegetables and stuff in the meantime, so at least we get a little bit more specialty. Remember that on the internet, things that you read, there's somebody behind it that has an interest in something, and typically it's your money. But it can be as simple as your click. And so, people will write blogs and write on research that's been manipulated because something that's new and exciting is going to get a lot of clicks on their blog, and that's how they make money. So you have to really be careful about, just because somebody says something and even has research, because research can be manipulated. That's one of the things that, a true research study is a double-blind placebo study. Even that can have some bias. So, you just have to be really skeptical, especially when it comes to something that's so far out of the norm.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. So, and I know that most carnivores also on the carnivore diet don't do zero carb. They do carbs, they just do low carb, and we're doing zero. I mean, we're not even doing spices. Yeah. And no dairy. So ours is more extreme. And I am curious if I just added in some, or even just dairy or some, berries or whatever, just to see if it would drop and go to fairly normal. I don't know. It's just so strange. And also my fasting, my lab said to fast 12 hours, and I don't know if this would affect that or just glucose exactly, but I ate at like 4 p.m. a huge dinner, and and then we go to bed early, so we went to sleep. My appointment wasn't until 10:30 in the morning, so that's quite a long fast. So I set an alarm, woke up around 10, and then ate a little bit of bone broth and some egg salad, and went back to sleep. I just wanted to have something in my stomach so it wouldn't skew my results. I don't know if that was enough to be breaking my fast or whatever, but then when I got to the appointment, it was really late, like over an hour, probably an hour and a half passed. So I'd been fasting a long time.
Yeah, no, that wouldn't have. It could have an impact on your blood sugar, but it wouldn't have a dramatic impact on your lipids.
All right. Next step then is to go to a cardiologist, not just to run some more tests. And I was going to ask, I have a little list of tests I was hoping that people wrote and said that they thought we should check or whatever, but I'll just talk to the cardiologist, I guess, about them then.
Take it to the cardiologist, because if they're unusual tests, then we probably wouldn't be able to get them covered anyways. They'd have to be by cardiology.
Okay. And if you want to read that, just in case you run into another patient, it's an interesting little article about that I sent, if you guys can find it. But if you're not, it's called it's an LMHR. Okay. LMHR, it's a lean mass hyperresponder.
Okay.
That's the little phenomenon. Yay. Okay. Well, thank you. I appreciate you calling back. And then my husband, I'm curious, he wants to see you too, because now you're familiar with what happened to me, and he's doing this too. And it'd be neat to have you guys, you and Dr. Combs, if you showed him too, to see what his are going to end up being too. Is that something that we can order his labs and then have him come in and see you guys? He got them done not that long ago, but we weren't doing carnivore at that time. So his labs were fine.
See what we can do if we need to get him an appointment or if we can just do labs. So
okay. Thank you. I appreciate your understanding and not for freaking out.
I'm a little freaked out.
I know. I am a little bit too, but
okay.
I think all that recorded except the end where I was scheduling Steve an appointment. But obviously they're concerned, but I'm going to be seeing a cardiologist. She's never seen anything like it, just like we assumed, and her boss hasn't seen anything near that. So that was kind of what I expected, just from everything we've seen. But I do understand what she meant with the concern. Like if I'm not having any medical issues, then why would I be a test subject? I want to talk to a cardiologist. So I'm going to carry on the way it is, my normal diet. 1 meal a day, probably. Today I'm doing 2 meals a day just because I woke up and I was hungry today. So I'm having 2 today. But normally I'm going to try to stay in ketosis just because it feels great. I love it. And it's something fun to track. So I'm going to stay with 1 meal a day and until my appointment. And then we'll go from there. This morning, first thing, Steve went to the Quest Labs, and got his blood done. So his results should be in a few days. I saw Dr. Barry happen to be having a live video. He'll read super chats. So I sent a super chat to see what he'd say, because I just wanted to say if he'd see my number and be like, whoa, you need to go to the emergency room. So here's what he said.
Steven says, help, I'm a lean mass hyperresponder, perfect labs prior, BMI 21, that's very healthy, beef, butter, bacon, and eggs for 3.5 months, total cholesterol 625. You got me beat. Mine's only 350. HDL 82, triglycerides 82, LDL greater than 350. So the question is this inherently dangerous? Is this a risk factor for Steven? Even though Steven's A1C and C-peptide and fasting insulin and triglycerides and HDL are all gorgeous, is Steven at increased risk for heart disease because of his high total cholesterol and high LDL cholesterol? There are some experts who think absolutely yes. There are some experts who think absolutely not. There's research ongoing about the lean mass hyperresponder question right now. Some research is about to be dropped, published publicly in the near future, and then there's more research ongoing at the moment. So in my personal opinion, from all the studies I've read, I think that if your A1C, your fasting insulin, your triglycerides, and your HDL cholesterol are all good, this is irrelevant. But that has not been proven yet. That is just a hypothesis at this point, an educated, learned hypothesis. But we don't know yet.
If there's 2 of us with the same phenomenon in the same house,
we both have that. And we both feel great. I don't know what we're going to do. Like, we're also going to get our arteries checked.
For now, though, the plan of attack is nothing, because I want to go to the cardiologist and see what they say. I was going to maybe add in some carbs or, cut coffee or do something to wear just to see if something would change. And Steve's like, why would you do it, though? Because if a cardiologist is interested in it or wants to do tests, if you remain the way you are, that's what they'd want to test.
Well, plus you would need to know.
That's true.
If you change something, and then you'll be wondering, oh, I wonder if that's what caused it, what the change caused it, or if there's something that's going to be caused. You might just do what you're doing. Go to the cardiologist, have them do that plaque test, on your heart and arteries, and then go from there.
If we'd had any concern, like last night, we talked about it nonstop, reading stuff nonstop. But this morning, after sleeping on it and everything, Steve had said, if we'd had any problem at all or concerns, or if I had heart palpitations or had anything at all, other than feeling amazing.
Yeah, if we had something
we'd be
that
more
we
concerned.
could have said, hey, I've been feeling whatever, not good.
Not sleeping
or
well.
having pain or some
palpitations.
Yeah, just anything that would be like, man,
high blood pressure.
Feel good. Like, I don't feel good.
Yeah.
Like, I
And-
don't feel good is a okay, then we got to figure out what this is about. But when you're feeling great,
The opposite. Like
Yeah.
I've never felt better, and every day I feel so good. So
if you feel crappy and then you go and get your blood work and your numbers are real high, you're gonna be like, holy crap.
Yeah.
That's why I feel so bad.
But we would have stopped it immediately after seeing my results if
Exactly.
that was the case. But the fact that we aren't means we're keeping the door open to see what a cardiologist says.
Yeah.
And more testing to see like if I've got plaque or don't or whatever.
So right now, we just wait to see what happens with the cardiologist, and then we go from there.
That's right.
All we're doing is gathering information and using that to make choices for the future. But right now, feel great.
Only great things have been happening.
Yeah. I don't know when her date's with the cardiologist, but I'll probably be right behind her. So I get my blood work, results back.
Maybe we can go together. It'd be
And
like
then
a
we're
date.
both- Yeah, we can go to the cardiologist
He'd
date.
probably want to see us together.
Well, actually, I might not even be going to one.
That's true. Yours
don't
might be
know yet.
perfect. We don't know.
We don't know. So that's how we're going to proceed, and we'll keep you guys posted. We're going to get information. We're doing the responsible thing.
Yep.
And in the meantime, enjoy your life.
Enjoy life.